Hi, you guys. Welcome back. My name is Carrie Penny. I am the Happy Crafty Homemaker, and welcome to show and tell number 116. So I'm sorry, you guys, there were no uploads last week. I'm sure I've mentioned this in another video that's going to come out before this, but my husband had to have his deviated septum repaired. Sorry, Pippin's on the ladder in front of my yarn wall and is now trying to pull off yarn. So yeah, it ended up, we didn't think I was going to be affected this much this week, but it's been a little bit of a running around. There was no complications or anything like that. Just the little things, when you're uncomfortable, the little things, they start to add up. And then like the one day I did have where everything was more or less normal. It was a heat index of 105. I had been outside, and by the time I had the time to film, Carrie was tired. So yeah, it last week ended up being a bit of a kerfuffle. I did get some crafting time in and stuff like that, but there just wasn't time to come down here and actually do any filming. So Pippin being Pippin, but everything's great. He's doing wonderful. He's at the point now where the swelling has gone down enough to where he's breathing like he was before the surgery. And he's less than a week out. So it definitely, I think, is going to help him in the long run. Anyway, so if you guys follow me on Instagram, you have already seen pictures of where Erica from the Lopsided Crafter, I will have her channel tagged down below, was getting rid of a whole bunch of yarn. And I was like, yeah, sure, I'll take it. Like, I'm not going to say no over here, really. Because if I'm not going to use it, like as I go through it, if I'm not going to use it, I do know places that could desperately use the yarn. So this is the bags that I brought in. And toting those from outside inside was just, that was an adventure in and of itself. And then over here, we have where I have everything sorted out by yarn weight. And I met her on Thursday or Friday. I met her Friday for lunch. It is now Sunday when I'm filming this, and I'm still not done sorting everything. I'm still not done going through everything. I have pulled a couple of things from my stash where I know that the ladies at the Prayer Shawl Ministry back home will be able to get a lot of use out of it. The Prayer Shawl Ministry at my church here that we've been going to hasn't restarted yet, and right now there isn't a restart date, so I'm just going to take it down to Columbia with me. But right now I've got 3 giant totes full of yarn for them, and I've also kept more than 3 giant totes of yarn for me out of all that. So I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put everything. There was a whole bunch of gray impeccable yarn though, which is perfect because I need it to border some granny squares that I've been working on, and there was another taupey color, and I'm thinking about using that maybe to join the corner to corner squares that I've been working on out of my DK weight scraps, because this is almost a worsted weight. So now I'm thinking maybe the beige taupey tone might be what I use for this. So obviously I've got at least one of these done for my show and tell, but it's been a little bit of an adventure trying to go through everything. I am doing some tradesies with my stash too for donations versus, and just so I'm not, my wall's pretty full. Even where I've used a whole bunch of stuff out of my stash this year, my yarn wall is pretty full. I was able to get all the cakes I wanted on the cake wall, no problem, but I'm having a little bit more trouble with this wall. So when I do my big overhaul in January and resort and lay hands on everything again, I know I'll have room for everything, but right now I'm like, what do I do? Where am I going to put all this? But it's fun. It's fun in a good way. It's scary in a good way. All right. That update. Oh, you guys. So a special welcome to all my new subscribers. So I got like 500 new subscribers in the last 2 weeks. Thank you guys so much. Coming into August, this is my vlogiversary month. I'm not planning on doing any type of giveaways or prizes or cows or anything for my vlogiversary this year, but yeah, that might change by the end of the month. Who knows? I might take some of the yarn that I got from Erica and do a giveaway with it. I don't know. But I am now hitting my 3rd year here on the platform, and I just hit 5,000 subscribers. Thank you guys so much, and welcome to my strange little corner of the internet. You never know what's going to happen or what's going to pop out of my mouth. Sometimes it might be something really snarky, and sometimes it might be something very helpful. Who knows? But welcome, you guys, and I hope you continue to enjoy what you see here on my channel. It's a little bit of everything yarny and crafty. So sometimes there's a lot of paper crafting. Sometimes there's just a whole bunch of yarn crafting. So welcome, you guys. Thank you so much. This is a big milestone for me. Like I said, I really never thought I'd get more than about 50 people watching, and that's just friends and family. So I am forever grateful for you guys. And once again, thank you so much for the feedback on my half circle eyelet shawl pattern. That's the tutorial will be linked down below because I do have another one of those to share with you guys. But I am loving seeing all of you guys' shawls on Instagram and in my Facebook group. And I've had one of you guys email me the pictures. I am loving seeing what you guys are doing. Jennifer over at Cinnamon Stitches kind of made it more into a capette where she added a button, which I think is genius. Penny added sleeves to it, which I think is brilliant. I'm just overwhelmed seeing all of the different ways you guys are using the tips on how to make this shawl work and creating your own thing with it. Like I said, it's a basic shape. This is just to tell you how to do the shape of the shawl. You guys have gone absolutely wild with it. Somebody even added ribbing to it. One person added some like cross stitches in it. I am just blown away at what you guys are doing with this very simple, basic shape to create your own designs. And it's so fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much for sharing. Thank you for the support on it. Thank you so much for everything you guys are doing to contribute, making my day a better day, because I love seeing what you guys are doing and working on. If you weren't aware, I do have a Facebook group down in the description box below. Please answer all 3 questions and agree to the group rules. I've had to decline a lot of membership invites or requests because you are not answering the questions. I don't know whether or not you're a spam bot or not, so please make sure you're answering all 3 questions and agreeing to the group rules. That way you can come and play with us too. You can be part of the group, sharing everything, and like I said, just making my day. I have so much fun seeing what you guys are working on, and keep the sharing going. It's not just about me, it's about you guys too. I want to see what you do. I get inspiration from you guys. All right. 8 minutes in, and aside from a square, I have not shown you what I worked on. All right. First thing I did was I did block my Sunday cowl. This is a pattern by Katie and the Squid. And I told you guys it really needed to be blocked. This is using some knit crate yarn that I had. This is from the Brooklyn Boy Knits collaboration. One is Empire and one is Royal, I think. But it is a 2-color cowl. I did block it fairly firmly, so the eyelets really opened up long way. So, you know, it was kind of bunched up around my neck before. Now it's got a much more of a drape down like an infinity scarf instead of a cowl. But I really wanted to let those eyelets show up. So I really, really, really love how that turned out. Now, a couple of you guys have asked me about blocking. So with wool, you have to block it every time you wash it, or over time it will kind of, the stitches will retract on themselves, which is why I tend to firm block most of my wool things, because I know that with wear, and even if I'm not washing it, it'll just kind of draw up. Now, I do live in a very humid climate, but with any natural fiber, you have to reblock it with every washing, or just occasionally with time, it'll you'll have to reblock it anyway. When it comes to acrylic, I do steam block. Now, there are a couple of different ways to achieve steam blocking. You can put it in the dryer with the t-shirt and then pin it out. You can pin it out and use the steam function on an iron, hovering the iron or a steam wand over your project to make the stitches relax. Whichever way you do is fine. After that, I machine wash only or hand wash only. If you put it back into the dryer, you're going to re-steam it to block it. And it's going to be in whatever shape it comes out of the dryer in. So you do, regardless, when you put acrylic in the dryer, you want to pull it out as soon as the dryer goes off and lay it out flat. That way you're not getting like creases and crumples kind of into your work. But blocking is very simple. Pin it out to the shape you want it in, steam it, spritz it with water, pin it while it's wet. A lot of sweaters, even store-bought sweaters, will tell you to wash it dry flat and shape it into the shape you want so you don't lose the shaping in it. But that's all it is. Next, finished object. I did my squares for Christy Cook over at T-Doddle's Murder Mystery Make-Along. I really love this square. I will definitely be keeping this for another scrap project. This is Craft Smart from Michaels in Fiesta. And this is Impeccable in Grass. I did not do another lay it out and see how it looks all together. I'll probably do that again next month. Or this, well, I guess this is coming out in August. So I'll do it at the end of August when I do my blocks for August. I am doing one variegated and one solid block for every month. I did just ask her if she is planning on doing a special join and border. If not, I'm going to go ahead and start joining mine because I really want to be able to see where I am as I'm going. Plus, it means less finishing work as we get to December, because I'm going to have a lot of finishing work to do in December. Next up, I made a beanie hat to match the basic increase shawl I did. Let's see if I got that down here. A couple weeks ago. So this is another one of my tutorials. This is a knitting tutorial. This is the basic increase shawl. And for this one, I did on the right side an increase on each corner and on either side of the center stitch. So there's on the right side 4 increases and then knit back across because I did it in garter stitch. But I just wanted to do a very simple hat to use up the yarn that I had. I wanted this for a scarf really and this for a hat. I will be adding a pom to the top. I think I'm going to do a brown faux fur pom. This has, I think I did 110 stitches on this one. Ribbing for 6 inches, stockinette for 4 inches, and then decreasing. Nope, I did 100 stitches because there's 10 decreases there. So 100 stitches, 6 inches of ribbing, 4 inches of stockinette, and then I started the decrease pattern. And I just did knit 8, knit 2 together, knit 8, and then knit around. Then did another decrease round, then knit around, decrease around, knit around, until I got to my last 10 stitches. So I pop it on my head, but I still have more videos to film after this and don't want to. But yeah, very happy with how this turned out. I really love this yarn. This is the Premier Venus yarn in the color Io. I have a couple more colorways left in my stash, but it is slowly going away. I suppose this is a discontinued yarn. I can really easily trade this out for the DK weight cakes that Premier sells in the anti-pilling collection. There'd be no issue with that, but I just really loved, because you can see like there's little speckles and little bits of tonal variation even within the stripes. And I like the different length stripes on this. It was fun to work with. It was a lot of fun to work with. So I already showed you one, but I've got 3 completed squares in my DK weight scrap corner to corner squares. And I actually have another 5 upstairs that I haven't woven in the ends yet. being in the car and being in doctor's office. I had lots of time to work on these, but did not want to weave in my tails. So I think I'm up total to a dozen of these, and I have just enough yarn scraps to do another probably 3. So I will probably lay this out here in the next week, see how big this is getting to be, look at how I want to join these. I had a lot of gray and white scraps. So I do have a lot where like there's a white all the way through, but there's also a lot like this one where literally the color is constantly changing. There's not a solid color band through everything. Like this one has like blue and then gray. This one's all white with the changing color. So I had a lot of purple scraps too. There's a lot of purple that'll end up in this blanket. I mean, like I've got 2 different shades here that take up a huge group. And then this one has purple here, purple here, purple here. Lots of purple yarn. I've used a lot of purple DK weight yarn this year, apparently. I got another set done for Rose over at Rose Likes Crochet's Wishes for Wings project. So this will be going to her. But this is my 3rd loop half double crochet dishcloth. And it's coordinating. Like I said, I always have enough to do like a face round size. This is actually, I say it over and over again, I always call them face rounds, but the truth is I use these for dishes far more often than I use them for faces. And I just did a back loop half double crochet to add just a shade of texture, and then the reverse single crochet border on that one. Goes down there. I'm going to show you this project next. So this is my half circle eyelet shawl. This one is 7 wedges instead of 8. So this, like I said, you can do 7 to 9 wedges and get a shawl out of it. And they just fit slightly differently, ever so slightly differently. Like this one does not overlap in the front as much. This one does sit further back on your shoulders. But because of how big the round is down here, you could pull it to the front and use a shawl pin with it or clip it in a different way. I was also thinking you could put it over your shoulder and do like the side clip with it. But it's a little bit shorter than the other 7 wedge one I had done, and that's because I ran out of yarn. But this used 3 skeins of the Big Twist Renewal from Joann's. And this is, I think, teal, coral, and gray were the colors that I used. But that's how that turned out. I still love the shape of the shawl. I think it just always works. It's just regardless of what yarn you use for it, it seems to always work. And I did come in and do a small shell border on the bottom of it just to add a tiny little detail. I mean, only you will really ever notice something like that when you, I mean, I guess from a distance you can kind of tell there's a shell there. But it's just a small shell to add a little something to the edge of it. I will have another video that's either already come out or will be coming out after this video talking about this yarn and the Big Twist cotton from Joann's. We have some things to discuss with those. And my final project, which is really for me to, like, for 2 weeks doesn't seem like that much to share, but I made the Hipster scarf using my Yarnable for the month of July. That's the right way. So this is a pattern by Joji Locatelli. You really can't see the eyelet section there in between the bands of the cross stitches. So this is a scarf size. It also could drape over your shoulders. Words. I am in love with this pattern. For the yarns I have picked to do this again, and I am going to skip the eyelets and just do a stockinette section in between the cross stitches. While I love the eyelets, the yarn is not going to show them off. Up close, I can see the eyelets, but even trying to show you that little bit of texture with a variegated yarn, it's just not showing up. So the next one I do in the fingering weight, I'm going to skip that. There is a worsted weight version of this, which I also have, and I am going to be doing something different in the in-between section for that one as well, because the yarn I have pulled for that really isn't going to show the texture at all. It's a texturized yarn. But I love this. This is the Hypnotic Yarn Yarnable subscription box that I've been reviewing. This is the second month's yarn. Good news is month 3 is already on the way. I'm working on picking a pattern for month 3 already. But I love how this worked up. I love this pattern. It is a little fidgety to get your fingers around at first. But once you get the cross stitch down and understand what the directions are telling you to do and get your fingers around doing it, you can actually speed through it. It's not that bad. But it is a little bit fidgety. And you definitely want a longer needle than you think you're going to need if you do this. There are a couple video tutorials out on YouTube showing you how to do the cross stitch. But I love it. Oh, shoot. I forgot your name. It's Catherine or Kathleen or shoot. This was a recommended pattern from one of you guys to do with this yarn. Bah, humbug. If I can find it, I will put it on the screen, and I will leave her Instagram handle down there as well. She's done a couple of these. She recommended this pattern because she was thinking the Hipster shawl would just be the perfect pattern for it. It does help in the cross stitches to show off like just that little bit of variation, the tonal variation, the speckling that's in the yarn. So you get way more pops of that in the shawl than you would think you would with the garter stitch sections there. But yes, thank you so much for the suggestion. I have another yarn pulled to do a worsted weight one and one yarn to do another fingering weight one. Having a blast with that. So that is it for today. That is everything. That is a lot. That is a lot. So we have, today I'm going to be filming Yarn Bingo and the conversation about the Big Twist yarns. My Yarnable for August will be here any day now. I think it's supposed to be here on Wednesday, so it'll probably be next week when that comes up. I have a couple other little projects that I'm working on, so it might be a while before I have a true finished object though, because I have 4 blankets that I'm working on. I'm trying to use up some scraps, and I did finally get some like time to go through my scraps and push things together for certain projects. So I've got some scrap projects that I'm working on and trying to use up. So next week might actually be just a whole bunch of blocks and blanket progress. I don't really know what else is going to be on deck. The Hipster shawl really won't be ready to show, so I'm not going to. And I haven't picked a pattern yet for the Yarnable. So it might actually be 2 weeks before we have like a big finished object show and tell. It might be more of like the WIPs kind of thing. But you never know when somebody like Katie and the Squid's going to pop up a pattern, and I just have to make it as soon as I see it. So maybe there'll be something else that will drop in here. So I hope you guys are having a wonderful, fantastic day. I look forward to seeing you guys real soon. I love you. See you later.